Have you ever pondered why some individuals effortlessly attain their dreams while others toil just to make ends meet? A question that has likely made numerous rounds in your thoughts. The distinction, dear listeners, commonly lies within the potency of well-defined goals. Let's take a brief pause to reflect on this. Picture embarking on a trip. Lacking a vivid endpoint in your mind would likely result in aimless wandering, creating uncertainty about the correct path to follow. Correct? Now transpose that same theory to your life. Without a detailed, distinct goal, there's the possibility of aimlessly drifting, never genuinely reaching a meaningful endpoint. So, what constructs a goal as specific? It goes beyond simply declaring, "I aspire to be successful." That's too broad. A distinct goal resembles something akin to, "I aspire to be a renowned author of children's literature," or "I aim to complete a marathon in under 4 hours." These goals are not just explicit but are also quantifiable. You are aware precisely what you're shooting for and can monitor your progress towards it. Mull over this. When you establish precise goals, you provide your mind with a lucid target. It parallels programming a GPS. Once your destination is inputted, your mind can commence mapping out the optimal route to reach it, akin to GPS. This methodology is not only about professional accomplishments, it's equally pertinent to personal aspirations, be it mastering a new ability, enhancing your health, or fostering relationships. At this point, you might be questioning, does this genuinely operate? Well, the evidence is incontrovertible. Numerous accomplished individuals credit their successes to the formation of precise goals. We're not exclusively referring to famous personalities or business tycoons. Ordinary people like ourselves have revolutionized their lives by devising precise goals and striving towards them. One such person is a successful individual whose story is both inspiring and enlightening. So, ready to scrutinize the potency of specific goals? Let's immerse ourselves in the journey of this successful individual and see how the establishment of specific goals transformed their life. An aspiring entrepreneur was trapped in their everyday 9-to-5 job, yearning to launch their own business. Their dream was unclear and undefined, void of a distinct path. They had the final objective in mind, but they weren't sure how to arrive there. It was like seeking a destination without a guide or a compass, lost in a sea of ambitions. Then, one remarkable day, they had an epiphany. They recognized that their dream would remain just a dream, unless they initiated setting specific goals. They learned that to accomplish their dream, they needed to deconstruct it into smaller and attainable goals. They required a strategy, a game plan, and that's precisely what they did. They took their lofty dream and segmented it into smaller objectives. They set timelines, milestones, and began tracking their progress. They started with a straightforward goal: to expand their knowledge about the industry they intended to enter. They read books, participated in seminars, signed up for online courses, and connected with successful entrepreneurs. The metamorphosis was astounding. They were no longer just dreaming, they were working towards their dream. Their mundane 9-to-5 job became a stepping stone towards their entrepreneurial journey. They started seeing progress. They started feeling accomplished. They started believing in their dream more than ever before. But this was just the onset of their journey. The real magic began when they started setting specific goals. Each goal they achieved brought them one step closer to their dream, and every failure was a lesson learned, a stepping stone toward success. So, how did they start setting specific goals, and how can you do it too? We'll continue to unravel this in the next scene. The first step was to deconstruct the vague dream into specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, SMART objectives. This is just an ingenious acronym. It is a tried-and-true methodology that steers us towards actualizing our dreams. Let's scrutinize each facet of SMART objectives, using their journey as an illustration. Initially, they made their objectives specific. Rather than vaguely desiring to get fit, they pinpointed run a marathon as their aim. The more explicit your objective, the more lucid the road to it appears. It's akin to swapping a hazy map for a high-definition one. Subsequently, they ensured their objective was quantifiable. They understood that running a marathon is too generic, so they refined it more. They resolved to run a marathon in under 4 hours. This provided them a specific mark to aim at, a finish line to cross. When your objective is quantifiable, you are equipped to track your progress and maintain motivation. Then, evaluated if their objective was achievable. They had never run before, so finishing a marathon in under 4 hours seemed overly ambitious. they decided to revise their aim to run a half marathon in under 2 hours. This was demanding, but in their grasp. It's crucial to dream big, but your objectives should also be realistic. Otherwise, they can become demoralizing. They also confirmed their objective was relevant. They pondered if running a half marathon resonated with their personal interests and long-term aspirations. They loved the outdoors and aspired to enhance their health, so the answer was a resolute yes. Your objectives should matter to you and align with your wider life plans. Finally, they rendered their time-bound. They resolved to run a half marathon in under 2 hours, 6 months from today. Setting a deadline instills a sense of urgency and aids you in staying concentrated. It's similar to setting an alarm to wake you up in the morning. You are aware you have to rise and get moving. Their SMART objective metamorphosed from an ambiguous get fit to an explicit run a half marathon in under 2 hours, 6 months from today. This provided them a transparent direction and a tangible target to aim for. But setting a SMART objective is just the commencement. It's like setting the coordinates on your GPS. You are aware of your destination, but you still have to drive there. And that's when the actual labor commences. Bear in mind, specific objectives are the stepping stones to your dreams. They divide your journey into manageable portions and aid you in keeping tabs on your progress. They are your roadmap to triumph. With their SMART objectives in place, they were on their route to success. But how did they manage to stay on course and attain these objectives? Well, that's a tale for another scene. Until then, keep setting those SMART objectives and keep reaching for the stars. Accomplishing your objectives isn't only about laying them out, it's about maintaining dedication, surveying your growth, and improvising your strategy as required. Let's glean insight from their journey. Remember them? They had a vision, but it was initially as unclear as a misty dawn. However, when they began establishing explicit objectives, they started to witness the fog dissipate, and their pathway became well-defined. Pledge was the inaugural stride. They had to assure themselves that they would observe their objectives through to fulfillment, irrespective of the obstacles. Dedication is about recognizing that there will be trials, but also remaining unwavering in your determination to conquer them. It's akin to being an alpinist. The voyage is arduous, the weather is erratic, but the climber's dedication to attain the summit makes all the disparity. Subsequently, they started to monitor their progress. They commenced chronicling their journey, marking down their triumphs and failures, their peaks and troughs. This wasn't merely a journal, it was a guiding path. It demonstrated to them where they had traveled, where they were standing, and where they needed to proceed. It's like a navigator for your objectives. It might not always suggest the quickest route, but it will invariably steer you to your target. But what when the path is obstructed? That's where flexibility enters the picture. Their journey wasn't a linear path. There were deviations, obstructions, and occasionally they had to retrace a few paces to advance. But that's the charm of possessing a flexible strategy. When one opportunity shuts, you can always identify another to unlock. It's like being a river. A river doesn't cease when it confronts a boulder. It discovers a way around it, above it, or beneath it. And so they, with their dedication, their guiding path, and their adaptability, succeeded in transforming their unstructured vision into a palpable actuality. They didn't just accomplish their objective, they experienced it. They didn't merely envision, they actualized it. And that, my friends, is how they transitioned their once unclear vision into a flourishing reality. So, what can we gather from this narrative? Well, this account has taught us that a goal without a plan is merely a wishful thought. To transform it into reality, we must be explicit and quantifiable. Similar to the protagonist of our story, we need to be clear about what we desire, why we desire it, and how we can identify its achievement. However, that's just the beginning. Setting the goal is merely the preliminary step. It's vital to maintain our motivation, persistently push ourselves, and concentrate on our chosen path. And don't forget, adjusting our strategy when circumstances change is permissible. Flexibility is the key to accomplishing any objective. Furthermore, it's crucial to rejoice in small victories along the journey. It not only uplifts our mood, but fuels our motivation to strive harder. In a nutshell, a clear goal, a feasible plan, the correct attitude, and adaptability are the formula for success. Bear in mind, the initiation towards realizing your dreams is by setting precise goals. So, what's your forthcoming goal going to be?